Hey y'all, this is Sophisticated Teacher welcoming you back. For this project, you will need a sewing machine, polyester thread, 1 yard of stretch knit fabric, a zigzag or a stretch stitch. In order to cut your bodice, trace out either a dress or a shirt that you have that fits how you like. I'm using a bodice block. Cut out the desired length that you have for the blouse and then cut a slant for your front bodice piece at a 45-degree angle. This is what it should look like. In order to cut your back piece, use one of your front bodice pieces, fold your fabric in half, and then trace your fabric out. Once you've traced your fabric, make sure you cut your neckline accordingly. Double fold your fabric in order to cut your sleeves out. Trace your sleeve using your bodice block or your shirt. And then you're going to measure the length of the sleeve that you would like, clip a notch, and then cut it out. For the bottom of the sleeve where your seam will be, use your scissors to cut the rest of the way. Measure your wrist and then cut out 2 arm cuffs on the fold of your fabric. 2 cuffs, 2 sleeves, a waistband, and 2 bodice front pieces are what you need at this point. Make sure you take your 2 front bodice pieces in your back and sew. And this is what it should look like. Once you have done all of that, you need to go ahead and do a rolled hem. I don't do it because I forgot about it, but do a rolled hem. That just means fold your edges over twice. Measure your waist and then multiply your waist measurement on a very stretchy knit fabric by 0.8. Once you measure your waist by 0.8, go ahead and sew down the side seam and then fold it over as I show you. You're going to take your blouse pieces that you just sewn together and you're going to only take the side seams and paste them together and then clip a notch for the back. This is going to help you match up your side seams and your back piece when you connect it to the waistband of your blouse. Make sure all of your layers of fabric meet up. That's why I'm connecting everything together. Once you've connected all those pieces together, go ahead and pin them accordingly in the middle and on the side seams. They have to match, otherwise it will look crazy. Put as many pins as you can, but as you're pinning, make sure you stretch your fabric out so that you pin it in the correct way. You don't want it to look pleated or bunched up unless that was the desired look, but you need to stretch it as you're pinning it. After you pin, go ahead and take all of your pieces together. When you pin down the front, make sure you make the 2 bodice front pieces overlap. And again, at this point, you should have sewn a rolled hem on the edges of your 2 front bodice pieces and the back neck portion, even though mine isn't done. I had to end up doing it later. Overlap your 2 front bodice pieces. After you overlap your 2 front bodice pieces, stretch your fabric out and then sew it all the way around. This is your sleeve cuff. Do it just like you did the waistband, even though I have it kind of funky looking here. I did it just like the waistband. Take your sleeve, sew it where my hand goes on the line, and then you're going to connect your armhole pieces by matching up your armhole seams, and then you're going to take the top piece of your sleeve and then connect it. Okay? And then you're going to pin everything together and sew it down. In order to attach your sleeve cuff together, you're going to have to do a base stitch on your sleeve at the bottom. After you do the base stitch, you're going to pull the thread and gather it. And then you're going to match everything up together so that you can sew it down together. But before you do all that, make sure you pin it together. If you want to know how to gather, I'm going to have a separate video showing you how to gather any fabric together, whether it's woven or stretch. And woven just means it has no stretch. So go check out my video on that later, and then it will help you with that. But you can do a base stitch and then just pull one of the threads and it'll help you as I show you here. After you have gathered and basted everything together and pinned it, go ahead and sew your entire arm cuff together. And now that I think you all have dealt with my country drawl long enough, there is the final look without me hand stitching the front blouse together, and then also adding a trim on the front of the blouse, and that was scrap trim that I did to jazz it up. There's the final look. Thank you so much. One love. God bless.